This conference will now be recorded.
There we go. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Board of Commissioner meeting for February 24th, 2022. It is 9 a.m. in the morning, and just one real quick caveat, as we used to do quite a bit, but I'm going to cut it down. Go real short. It is a hybrid meeting, so those joining us in the audience, as we know, we all have to wear a mask. And we'll take the following public comments section in three ways, as we've always spoken about. One, if there was any information that was received by the customer service personnel in our district, we'll read it at that time in the public forum. Two, if you have a question, comment, concern, dislike, or anything like that, you can raise your hand on the virtual wall there, meaning in the chat box, and one of our staff members will be able to see that, so we can give you the opportunity to speak. And if you decide to come into our lovely little office here, which, well, we have nobody from the public today, we'll give you the opportunity there to also speak. So with that being said, if you could please join me real quick in the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll go ahead and get started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so thank you again, everybody, for joining us. And so this morning, myself, Commissioner Lorenzen, and I have Commissioner Wright here with me. Commissioner Koshi is joining us this morning via the GoToMeeting platform, which is on the virtual wall. So there is a quorum. Well, there's always a quorum if at least two, but there's full attendance by everybody here. So with that being said, we're going to move on down to the agenda approval. I'll look to staff first to see if there's any additions, subtractions, or anything.
No changes.
No changes. Look to my fellow commissioners if there's anything they wanted to add this fine morning. Getting the head nod side to side from Commissioner Koshi. I'll take that as a no. And Commissioner Wright has said the same thing. So how about a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda as submitted.
I'll second it.
So there is a first and a second for the motion on the consent, or not consent, the agenda approval. I'm getting ahead of myself. So with that being said, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. We have carried that on. So if you're following this morning and you have a version of the agenda, either electronically or paper, like the rest of us here have this morning, I am down at item number 4, which is the consent agenda item. It is A through I this morning on that consent agenda item. Just for everybody that might be in attendance, these are items that have been reviewed in detail by the fellow commissioners. And so it's just part of our way of doing business that we can get through them rather than go through them one by one. So with that being said, entertain a motion for approval of consent agenda.
I'll make a motion we approve the consent items A through I.
There is a motion on the floor to approve those. A second. And it has been seconded by Commissioner Wright. I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And it has been approved. We are moving like the wind. I am going to move on down to public forum. This is, like I said, the opportunity for anybody on the virtual wall or in person, or I will look to staff if we received any public comments.
Nothing.
We have received nothing from the public. There is nobody attending other than the board members and staff. I will look to the virtual wall to see if it lights up like a Christmas tree in the chat box. Not seeing anything there. Or if there's anybody else in the audience that would like to raise their hand and have any sort of comment, question, concern towards the Board of Commissioners. Not seeing any. I'm going to go ahead and close the public forum aspect of this morning's meeting. So as we move down to item 6, which is old business, as you can see, there is none according to our agenda. So we will move on down to item 7, which is new business. We have one agenda item on the board meeting this morning, and it is the Kids Way Child Care Pretreatment Variance. And I will look to staff to give us a update.
So the application for variance is for the Kids Way Child Care Early Learning Center. They would generally fall under our pretreatment requirements, and part of that requirement is quarterly inspection. They do have a small grease trap, and our inspector hasn't seen a significant amount of fog. So Kids Way is asking that we reduce the inspections, the amount of inspections, as well as their annual fog fee. And district staff recommends the variance for approval with the condition that the grease trap's a new install, so we don't have a whole lot of historic data. So we're recommending that for the first 6 months, we'll do 2 inspections to make sure that they aren't producing enough fog to require the quarterly inspections. And if not, then we'll reduce the annual fog fee and go to a one-time annual inspection. So again, yeah, district staff recommends the variance for approval.
Perfect. Okay, so I will look to my fellow commissioners if they have any questions, comments, concerns in regards to the staff briefing we just had.
No comments.
Nothing from any of us, which is a good sign. So I guess we could entertain a motion if so desired by the Board of Commissioners. So
I'd make a motion, we approve the Kids Way Child Care pre-treatment variance.
So there is a motion on the floor to approve the Kids Way Child Care Prevented Pre-Treatment Variance as outlined not only in the official document they had sent over, but conversations with staff and the staff report by our Assistant General Manager.
I second it.
And it has been seconded. I guess I just made that long-winded. So with that being said, I'm going to come up with a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 It has been moved. See how quick that works when you don't move an elected to talk. So, well, we're down to item number 8. First thing on that is the manager's report. So we have the general manager. We'll start with the general manager.
All right, plant flows right now are at 2.95 million gallons a day. We ended January at 8,724 total inorganic nitrogen. Remember, that's our total number that we're looking at for the new nutrient permit. So that's about 7% of our annual allotment. So we think we're doing really good right now. So huge thank you to our operators down at the treatment plant to
Absolutely.
making things happen and trying new things and being willing to put in that effort. We have quite a few ongoing maintenance projects down at the plant that we're working through. The calcium carbonate, which is the new alkalinity system that we're piloting, that's online and fully operational right now. So we'll try that out for about 6 months and then come back to the board with what we want to do moving forward. And then we had interviews for our open wastewater treatment plant operator position. And so those went very well and we're encouraged about that. We also have a new CPA that we're working with for year-end financials. So we started working on that this month in our accounting department. And then also the Department of Ecology had a Puget Sound Nutrient General Permit grant that was available to us. So our application for that has been submitted, and that's for an amount of $87,967. So we are looking forward to that part of it as well. Any questions? Awesome.
Very
That's
good.
all I got.
Yeah, thank you. That's great to see that we're applying for those grants because it really makes a difference and offsets what we would have to pass to ratepayers if we had to continue on the rules that we are paying for it, but it's nice to get a grant. So no questions by the other commissioners. We can move to the assistant GM.
Pretty quick report today. We've collected 35 GFCs and issued 56 permits so far this year. And that's all I got.
Well, it's good to see we're starting off real well. I mean, hey, it counts. So that's it. Any other questions, comments by the fellow commissioners? No. Okay, well, thank you there. Let's move on down to city report. I see we do have the city administrator joining us on the virtual wall. So I'm going to turn that over to you, Gene.
Great. Good morning, everybody. The only thing I have for you is just got back in the office and I had a stack of the final report from Pace Engineering of the old treatment plant and what can and can't be done on the existing location. So I will make sure a hard copy gets over to the district so you guys can have that for your files. Other than that, we're just chasing ice and snow this morning.
Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was a cold one this morning and it seems like we're weathering it pretty good. So let's move on down to commissioners' reports. We can start with Commissioner Koshi on the virtual wall there.
Yeah, just the only comment I have is I thought it was a very good utility meeting this week with our city partners. I think spirit of cooperation on really taking a hard look at the rates and the capital plan that goes into that rates. I think that's good work, and look forward to giving them some time to digest all of that we shared, and continuing the dialogue and land on the maybe the most palatable approach, because I don't think there's an ideal approach necessarily, but that's all I have. I appreciate it.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Ray?
Just getting up to speed on everything. Very excited. Feel like I'm learning a lot, and I'm going to set up appointments next week to go to the treatment plant and such. So that's it for me.
Excellent. Well, welcome aboard again.
Thank you so much.
You're getting the fire hose effect, I guess. With lots
I
of
love
stuff.
it. That's how I do it.
No, that's awesome. So, no, I think I would just like to reiterate, I thank staff and everything. Great meeting the other day with our utility partners. I think that's probably one of the best ones I've had in years. And, so it's really nice to be able to have good conversation and really approach it as like almost a true partnership that we're each trying to solve the same issue. So thank you, everybody, for the work on that. I know the staffs do all the work behind the scenes to make the electeds look very well, and we do appreciate that. We have, I won't say record time through a commissioner meeting, but we did pretty good. I don't think that I'll ever be able to beat a former commissioner that had one within minutes, but that's my fault because I talk too much. We will be having an executive session this fine morning, folks. It is going to be in regards to potential litigation or litigation. Of course, I always let the legal counsel kind of fill in the blanks, because if you leave it to an elected, we'll go off the track. So with that, I am going to anticipate it'll be 30 minutes. Currently, I show on this clock up there, it's about 9:12, 9:13. I'm going to say we would take our executive session to 9:45, because it does take us a couple minutes to kind of get ready and get into that session. Again, there would be no decision to follow. You're more than welcome to join back if we don't extend it after that 30 minutes. But when we are done, all we would be doing was coming into regular session and excusing ourselves for the day, so everybody can have a wonderful Thursday and go from there. So with that being said, I'm going to look to legal, because you guys have the RCWs and everything, and I'll let you do the little magic there, and we'll get started. I think you're up, Andrea.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, 1 second. I was just, so it's pursuant to RCW 4230-110. I don't have the subsection, but we'll be going into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Perfect. We'll start the recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
No,
Hold on.
This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning, everybody. Once again, this is the Board of Commissioners, Lake Stevens Sewer District. We are back in regular session. As noted previously, it is 9:45 a.m., so take that as a win, because generally we extend sometimes, but we've done quite well and we were efficient with our time. So again, there is no decision to follow. Being in the regular session, I would look to my fellow commissioners at this point. There is nothing left on the agenda to go away. So if somebody would like to make a motion.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I hear a motion on the floor
I second it.
and a second. Nobody's going to discuss it. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate
Take care,
your
everybody.
time.
Have a great morning. Enjoy the weather.
Yes, you too.
Rub it in,
Thank you.
Kevin.